never heard that, but that's the origin of CAP. I'm going to look this up. I'm going to look.
There's a principle that
Right.
we have to follow.
Yeah.
We have to have.
Be true to yourself. You don't have
And when I came back, the place was a mess. So I knew I was missed.
Deep in here now.
It's incredible.
I love it.
Me
That's
too.
good.
That's
Yeah.
good.
And applying the recovery, I thought.
All right, welcome to the McShin Foundation's Get in the Herd podcast here in Richmond, Virginia. We want to do a quick shout out to our sponsors. Up first is the Seed Institute. Seed Institute. If you have any questions about trying to get some trainings, they specialize in trainings, and they also help individuals start their own LLCs. They specialize in startup businesses. They are minority owned as well. So reach out to them, 804-939-0541. And then next up, we have the Farley Center. That was my angel on my shoulder there. We have the Farley Center. They are a treatment center located in Williamsburg, Virginia. If you have any loved ones or anyone that needs some services for substance use disorder and or mental health, give them a call. They have a detox and they take commercial insurances. 804-638-7329. Kelly Eason is the name of their coordinator. Give them a call. The Farley Center. Thank you, Farley Center, for that sponsorship. And then up next, we have Rooted Hair Studios. They are located in Colonial Heights, Virginia. If you give them a call and mention McShin, you'll get 10% off your next hairdo. So go on, get your hair done. Rooted Hair Studio, 804-919-3851. They are located in Colonial Heights, Virginia, and they are locally owned as well. So they're not a whatever commercial brand studio. They're locally owned. So give them a call. 804-919-3851. Mention code McShin, get 10% off. And then we have one last sponsor who wanted to remain anonymous. So we do want to shout them out for that sponsorship. They sponsored the podcast. So I don't have anything to sponsor. I don't have anything to say for them.
Lunch today.
Yes, but we do want to shout them out and say, thank you for that. And we appreciate that. And we appreciate all of our sponsors. And with that, we're going to get into our next episode.
Welcome to Get in the Herd. This is Joyce. I'm the Director of Admissions with McShin Foundation. A cool thing about McShin is, if you come to us, we'll try to find you help. If we can't help you, we will get you placed with someone that will be able to assist help. And with me saying that, I would like to welcome some individuals from Avenues. And what we're going to do is have them talk a little bit about a location that they have, as well as a little bit about what they do. All right. And please introduce each one of yourselves and a little bit about yourself.
My name is Moshe Schonbrun. I'm the Executive Director at Avenues Recovery of Maryland. And thank you for having us. We're excited for this conversation.
Great.
Hi, Joyce. I'm Courtney Sowers. I'm the Business Development Rep for Avenues in the Virginia area.
Awesome.
And I'm Josh Goldstein. I'm the Regional Director for the DMV area.
Well, welcome, you guys. I'm so excited. I love what Avenues does. I enjoy that every time we need someone to get connected, I reach out to you guys and you guys are on it. I mean, the people usually get somewhere within 24 hours a lot of times. Can you let me know a little bit about what location you're at and a little bit about your program?
Yes, so Avenues Recovery of Maryland is located in Prince Frederick. It's in Calvert County in southern Maryland. And just to your point of within the 24 hours, one of the biggest things when somebody's struggling with substance use or alcoholism is the swift response to get that person the help that they need. It's a huge emphasis that we place on immediate admission. The person is reaching out. They're at that moment that they're ready to help. It's so important to be able to right away. Transportation will provide the the timing, whenever it is, we have around the clock nursing, we have around the clock clinical staff. We are ready to help somebody in need, and we want to jump on the opportunity right away. We're a 60-day residential program. So our clients are coming and they're living for 2 months within this community. And it's really incredible to be a part of the atmosphere of authenticity and of growth and of community and healing is incredible. And the 60 days are just the beginning. We full time are helping each client find recovery within themselves in the moment and also in the long term, and facilitating a long-term plan, an individual plan and a lasting plan for recovery.
That's awesome. It's really important regarding that, immediate service when someone needs it, because we all know, when someone's looking out for that help, they usually only want that help for those few minutes or even that day. And then after that, if they don't get that help at that time, they may change their mind. That happens quite often. So that's why it's so important what you guys do.
Yeah,
Now
I'll tell you a story just on
Mhm.
that point. So there was this woman that was in a really dangerous abusive situation with a spouse, and finally gathered the courage and the ability and the plan to leave
Mhm.
together with her young children. And she leaves in the middle of the night and starts to drive away towards a safe location that she arranged with a close friend. And as she was driving, her car breaks down and she panics because where's she going to go? She's in the middle of a space that she's not unsure of, and all she knows is the place that she was in, and she doesn't have the way to go forward. And she calls her friend, and her friend says, I'm going to call around. I'll find somebody that can help with the car. She calls around. She says, I have something the next morning. First thing in the morning, the person's going to be able to help. Meantime, the kids are saying, let's just go back home. It's obviously not meant to happen. So she asks her friend, is there anywhere we could stay overnight? She says, there's only one hotel in the area. Go to this hotel. She goes. It's a Holiday Inn in Erie, Pennsylvania. And she gets to the front desk and they say, sorry, we don't have any availability. And to her, it's like that dagger in her heart.
Yeah.
Okay, I got to go back. It's not happening. And the manager sees her in this state of distress and goes to her and says, you know what? We have a conference room. Stay in the conference room. We don't have a bed, but we would just want you to be of help. And she says afterwards that gesture, that willingness to figure something out outside of the lines, outside of the box of the typical, we don't have the space, we don't have the ride, we don't have the transportation, whatever it is that's going to be that barrier for the person to receive life-saving help. We're here. We're that manager we're not taking no for an answer. No matter their payer source, no matter their reason why they ended up in the place that they are, we're there without judgment, without any reservations to help that person. Later on, this woman's child, David Goggins, his name is, he wrote a book, he wrote this story. He's a US Navy SEAL, and he said this was that transformation in his life. If that one person wasn't able to think outside the lines to help, who knows what would be. And that's where Avenues is at. Any person that calls in, we're going to figure something out. We might not have the typical route to go, but we're going to figure out to get that person life-saving and transforming help.
That's very important. And that's what we do as well as McShin. We want to make sure we try to get someone set up and get them linked in with some help. And what is your favorite part about the program that you guys have in Frederick? What would you say is your favorite?
Yes. So our program is, there are two things I would say is the favorite. It's hard to pick one. And the clinical care is our primary product. We want every single person to, when they think of recovery and they think of treatment, they're thinking of Avenues, because that's our care. We might not be a resort destination. It's Prince Frederick, Maryland. People don't necessarily associate that with sunny skies or the amenities. Our primary focus is on our clinical care. So we'll have 2 full-time music therapists. We'll have art therapists. We'll have yoga instructors. We'll have fitness instructors. we'll have an incredibly low and industry. We're breaking industry standards in client to counselor ratios, in our staff, in the culture that we have, and because of that, we're able to really dignify every person that walks in, every encounter that we have. And when you walk into Avenues, there's this sense of peace, of content, of community, and everybody feels that you don't feel like you're in a treatment center. You feel like you're in a place that values you, respects you, and it permeates throughout the staff, throughout the a visitor that walks in, a client that walks in, a family member. It's just a feeling of connectedness and of serenity, and it's really special to be in that atmosphere every day, because when you're in a perfume shop, you walk out at the end of the day, you have the scent, and we're walking out every day with that feeling of connectiveness, of authentic people, and it's really special. That's
It's awesome. It sounds like home, right? Like that's what we want them to have, is sense of home when they come in. It's very important.
Yeah, and then we have like clients, when they finish, they say, we ask them, like, what would you tell somebody on the fence for treatment? And they would say, I find my way home. You could find your way home too.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So we also want to introduce a little bit. Courtney is actually the individual who I reach out to often when I'm looking to get someone's linked into service. And I know you mentioned that any way that they pay, we'll try to figure it out. Courtney, can you tell me a little bit about what methods of payments you guys accept?
Sure. Thanks, Joyce. We accept all commercial insurance as well as Virginia Medicaid, which is really awesome. And it's just so wonderful to see a center like Avenues accept all insurance and be able to help everyone that walks in the door.
You accept more than just Virginia Medicaid. We're actually, we are nationwide. So what are all the Medicaids you guys accept? Just so that way everyone knows.
Yeah, absolutely. Virginia, Delaware, and Maryland Medicaid, and those are the ones that I cover. Is there anything else that I'm forgetting?
Wherever Avenues is, we take every insurance.
Okay.
So the answer to your question is that we take everyone. We believe
everyone?
recovery is for everyone, and we'll challenge anyone to find somebody with an insurance policy that we can't take.
Awesome.
And we want people to that barrier to treatment that we're talking about. Sometimes it's timing, sometimes it's transportation, sometimes it's the insurance payer. And there's a lot of great treatment centers that will say, sorry, we can't take you because of a payer source. And Avenues is of the belief that the same way addiction doesn't discriminate, we should not decline anyone based on a lower economic strata.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, we definitely don't want anyone to, we could save a life, with something small as to try to get them financed.
100%.
Yeah.
And I would like to add to that and say, like, if you would stop and think, like, when we say car insurance, right? What's the first thing that pops into your head, right? It will be one of like the big premier, companies, Geico or whatever it is. And when we go to referral sources, hospitals or anyone, and say, hey, when you think of inpatient addiction center, right, or inpatient addiction treatment, we want Avenues to be at the top, that there's no one that we can't take, right? You don't have to start looking on a face sheet down to the payer source to identify what center they can or cannot go to. If you see a diagnosis of substance abuse, that we can help them. We can accept them, and generally we could do same day, if not within 24 hours. So.
Absolutely. Yep. I definitely can attest to that. And it's great because you guys are reachable, and that's really important. How many people call me and they say, I've tried to call so many different places and I'm never able to reach someone, but I can always reach you. And then when I get them linked into you guys, they can always reach y'all. So it's very, it's really awesome for that.
One thing on
Absolutely.
that, this vignette is so important. So we have a receptionist. Her name is Sarah. She works in the Maryland facility. And I got a call. It was from an alumni of ours. And he said, I just want to tell you something. I looked at, before I came to treatment, I was on the fence and I haven't been to treatment before. And it was really scary for me. And I was looking at the website, devouring every little piece, and it just seemed so too good to be true, right? It's like all this great things and this opportunity, and it could take everyone, and like, wow, like this is too good. And he's like, I decided to myself, I said, I'm going to give them a call, and I'll see if they answer the phone, because you could tell, sometimes you could have great marketing, but you could tell once you made that call. And he says, I called, and the person that picked up answered the phone with such warmth and with such acceptance and with such patience, and was answering all my questions and was going through everything. And he said from that, in that conversation, I decided I'm going to go to treatment. And if nobody picked up, or if somebody picked up and just said, hey, who is this, or whatever it was, I would not have come into treatment. It was that one conversation that at that moment that I was ready, that allowed me to get into treatment. So for us, we view every single phone call, every single conversation as this can save someone's life. And most of the time, we're not going to find out about it afterwards. Right here, we had that insight into this one client, but I think it reveals on everybody else who comes into contact with Avenues. We're here, we're waiting, and we want everyone to find healing.
That's awesome. You guys all seem really eager to help. I would like to know, let's take it on a little personal level as well. What brought you into the business? What made you decide that this is where you wanted to be?
So prior to this, I started off my career in the nonprofit industry. I loved the nonprofit space, the sense of mission, the sense of heart, and that's something that always spoke to me. There was also certain limitations that came with the nonprofit, certain external factors, whether it was donors or grants or foundations, that we had to hit those check boxes. And the success that we had in the nonprofit wasn't necessarily allowing us to grow because we had external limitations. Here at Avenues, we're a nonprofit at heart with a for-profit model. So we're able, because we have a 93 bed center right now in Prince Frederick on the Eastern Shore. We have 104 beds. We don't want to only be able to help, I don't know the math, 203 people. Like, we want to expand and scale and help more people. And the amount of people struggling with addiction that are receiving this help or have access to the help is not enough. And we want to be part of that solution. And having that sense, that nonprofit heart of ours, that we're here, we want to help. To me, it's personal. I grew up with a close family member that was in active addiction, that now is in recovery, that got the help, that is now their life has transformed, and it's rolled over to me. And it's also, I feel like my entire life I've been on a quest for authenticity. I'm looking for, whether it's in a spiritual journey, in a interpersonal journey, always looking for realness. And in the recovery space, it's just so real, it's so honest, and to me, it's so personal. It's human. It's human at its core. Recovery is human. Wherever we are in the spectrum and the scale of unhealthy dependencies, that shift to be able to say, how can I be better today? That's the core of humanity. It's the core of Avenues, and it's humbling to be a part of.
That's awesome.
That's nice.
And what about you?
Well, my story is a little different. I didn't know much about treatment centers or substance abuse or mental health. And sadly, I lost my cousin at the young age of 42 to this disease. And not until after did we read parts of his diary that we discovered he was suffering from mental health and substance abuse and severe depression. And this was a guy that you'd meet and think that, he was the funniest person in the world and had the best sense of humor. And he was always happy. And really, he was not. He was struggling so bad inside. And it killed me to know that I was close with someone like that, but not at all. And so I wanted to learn everything I could about recovery and mental health and substance use. And so that's what brought me to the field. And this is one of the first places I came to learn was McShin. And you guys welcomed me with open arms and taught me so much about it. And then I found places like Avenues that can help people and just our true, authentic recovery centers that really, really care. And so that, that's why I got into it, and I love it. I love seeing the transformations, and I wish we could have saved my cousin.
I see that you use that for your passion, because you really you're really passionate about what you do. I mean, it's always, sure thing, ready. So it's awesome that, now you're able to help the next individual, and you kind of sympathize with the family as well.
Yeah, I've been there. Yeah.
Awesome. And what about you?
So for me, it was my closest friend. I had a buddy growing up that we pretty much did everything together. He was one of those friends where, like, if he dared you, you had to do it because of the friendship that you had. And unfortunately, he passed away from an overdose. He was married with a young kid. My youngest son is named after him in his memory. And my career took a little bit of a different path. I was always, involved in healthcare. I became a nursing home administrator, so I've always been involved in like inpatient type of healthcare facilities. And when the opportunity came, when Avenues first started to join the team down in Prince Frederick years ago, 7 years ago now, I jumped at it, and never looked back.
It's awesome. It's awesome. And what advice would you give to someone, now that you're in the business and you're actually meeting people when they're first come in? What would be your first advice that you would provide to someone maybe who is looking for, a treatment center to go to? What should they look for? Why would they want you guys?
Yes, I think the most important thing is to ask questions about the specifics for the clinical program. There are a lot of different treatment centers, and it could be very alluring to go, especially if your policy affords for it, to go to a destination place. My response is always get the life-saving and the life-transforming help you need, and then go on a retreat with your family, with your loved ones. Don't squander your treatment opportunity. When you have a program, ask, do they have a holistic aspect? Do they individualize their care? Are they just assigning counselors to whoever the next available counselor is, or are they doing a full-blown assessment of your entire history and your mental health diagnoses and your are they being intentional about who your roommates are going to be? It's so important to recovery. Is the opposite of addiction is connection. Right? Is it a place that understands the roots of addiction, that the traumas that lead to addiction, that are addressing the underlying traumas and not only addressing the addictive dependencies? The more information you have, the better off you'll be. My advice is just ask a ton of questions. Don't just go with whatever the glossy brochure states, even if the brochure could be accurate, but just ask questions first.
Absolutely. Make sure you talk to someone that's knowledgeable, right?
Yes.
Like it's really important for what you do to know about what you're offering.
Yeah, and I think to find out from alumni, we have what's the word? Flourishing alumni program. People complete the program and they want to come back. So they come back, they're helping current clients, they're helping each other. They're in the facility, they're going on trips, they're meeting alumni from other Avenue centers, they're meeting other people in recovery, and speak to people that have been through the programs. They may have been in many different programs, and they could tell you what's unique about it in a type of program like Avenues that really is different than other treatment centers. So even though websites might look the same and talking points might be the same, but when you ask people that actually went through it, there's a certain indescribable experience that could only come from somebody that went through it. So hear their stories, hear how they talk about the program. Are they talking about it with kind of like, oh, I wish I never had this problem and thank God that this place was around to save me? Or are they saying like, I now realize that this is my super strength. I would not have liked my life to be anything else, because I've learned so much about myself. I've learned so much about my family. I'm a better dad than I ever was. I'm a better daughter than I ever was, better friend than I ever was, a better employee. I'm a better person. That's the type of experience that you could have in recovery.
Right. And you talk about how you mentioned how the opposite of addiction, right, is connection. So Moshe touched upon it a drop, but we have an entire alumni coordinator position where what he or she does is they initiate that connection with our clients once they leave our program. We don't wait for our alumni to, stumble or be at a compromising, scenario or at a crossroads. We initiate that communication with them, where the alumni coordinator reaches out 24 hours after discharge. They reach out once a week after discharge. And if they don't get through, they continue to reach out just to check in, to make sure that any medical appointments that we scheduled for them post-discharge that they're going to, that they're attending their IOPs, and just maintaining that connection through their journey of aftercare, of, IOP and different outpatient sober house programs, through activities. We bring them back in. I believe, is it weekly that we have alumni meetings in-house, and we have them help facilitate AA or NA meetings with our current clients. So really ensuring that connection is there throughout their journey.
Right.
Yeah,
It's
that's
a
really
good thing.
important.
Another advice to ask is about the aftercare planning,
Mhm.
discharge planning, because recovery is not a 60-day thing that you just get it. Day 61 is the beginning, right? So find out, is this a type of place that is going to have dedicated staff that are helping me find that right place that's right for me, not just what's most convenient or has openings. We have relationships with so many different aftercare places, and it's customized to each person. Each person has their own. Some people have very supportive family and they want to be near that family. Some people just need a fresh start and need to go somewhere else. Avenues itself, we have extended care. We have our own programs in Pennsylvania, New Hampshire, that a person could be there for 6 to 12 months, help them reintegrate with jobs, with their family relationships, with slowly filtering it in through weekends and different opportunities to really build a lasting foundation. And you don't want it to be just a blip in your journey that, oh, I went to treatment and then went right back to where I was, but you really want it to be transformational, and find a program that has that aspect.
That's awesome. Let me ask you guys this. We are actually also on tablets in jail for individuals incarcerated. Do you guys work with individuals coming from incarceration? Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Absolutely, yeah. It's actually one of our biggest pride. Like, my personal belief when it comes to jail system is that, and I'm making these numbers up, but 50% of the people there should be there forever, and then 50% should never have gone to begin with, right? So many people that are there because of, let's say, drug charges and things like that. The truth is they don't belong in the jail system, right? They need proper treatment program to address the underlying sources of why they, fell into addiction to begin with. And we're very proud of the fact that we work very closely with drug courts throughout the state of Virginia. We work closely with Fairfax, with Loudoun County. I can name them all in Maryland as well, both on the Eastern Shore and in Central Maryland, Western Maryland. It's a big part of our census. And the beautiful thing is that if you come visit our treatment program and you look around our side, you won't be able to tell who's who, because the same way addiction doesn't discriminate, you can come to our center and look through our clientele, and you will not be able to say, okay, this person has a fancy private insurance policy, this person came from drug court, you would have no idea.
Right.
Yeah.
Everyone's treated the
I would
same.
say also we didn't get touch much yet into our clinical program. So in our group curriculum, so we have parallel groups, 6 simultaneous groups happening 5 to 6 times a day. So we're running a ton of groups, and each group is very intentional. So for the first week that the client is there is a certain type of group. For the next 2 weeks, for the 2 weeks after that, for their last few weeks with us, and then within each group as well, it's specialized. So we have a trauma track, we have a grief track, and we have a track specifically that's led by our staff that have from personal experience also through the different institutions, whether it's prisons or different recovery centers or mental health institutions that are able to gear. We have a customized track for people that have been through the prison systems, that they're going to go to a group that addresses issues specifically to that demographic, and really helps them, give them the tools that they could emerge really at their highest selves.
Awesome. Well, do you guys have any other final thoughts or final words you want to, something that you want to touch on that maybe we may have skipped over? I kind of want to try to touch all the points, but I did want to also introduce you guys, letting everyone know that, Avenues isn't just like a clinical, or it's not just like, a hospital. We've got actual real people working there that, have experience with individuals suffering from substance use disorder. A lot of people fail to realize, they always think it's, just like a board of directors handling everything, but there's real people, hands-on.
So I would say, just what comes to mind right now is that the industry is moving in the sense of just the terminologies from like substance abuse to substance use disorder to accurately reflect the medical condition. And no matter the onset of addiction, we're here, we recognize what addiction is, we're here to treat it with evidence-based practices. But I do believe there's a redeeming quality in calling it substance abuse, and that is it's abuse for the search for substance. We're all searching for substance in our lives. And when there's pain, and when you see a world that's at a dissonance of what it could be, you see where it is, the people that are in recovery have the deepest, the most sensitive, creative, smartest, intelligent, passionate people you'll meet. And they want substance, and they're not happy with a world that is just surface level. And they want something deep. And a substance could bring that. A drug, an alcohol, a drink could give you that feeling of connectiveness. But there's a better way, a way that doesn't have those long-term harmful effects, a way that will enrich your relationships, will enrich yourself. And that substance is there. And it's abuse to just take the way out of relying and being dependent on something external to you. It's something internal to you. And you'll find that substance. So if you give treatment a full shot, and you connect and you come with an open heart and with curiosity, you'll find that substance, that inner substance, that will lead you to your richest life possible.
That's awesome. Any final thoughts?
Well, I loved hearing what everyone had to say today. And you're so right about the substance. They're looking for something. So I would say pick up the phone no matter what. And we're all here to help, whether it's McShin, Avenues, anywhere. I've been doing this for 10 years, and I just want to connect people with a place that they can get help right away. And Avenues and McShin, they're just wonderful, wonderful places. So
Awesome.
pick up the phone.
Pick up the phone.
Mm-hmm.
And we touched upon this a little bit, but it's one of my favorite parts about what we do is that we are a 60-day residential program.
Mhm.
It's very, very rare to find that. And even 60 days truly is not enough. But we're very proud of the fact that we double what the national average is, what the industry standard is for what residential treatment is. And it's a thought out schedule that we have. And the more opportunity our clients, our patients have to be in a safe, controlled environment with 24-hour nursing, with 2 psych nurse practitioners, 3 full-time nurse practitioners there, to be able to help them through whether it's a detox, protocols or whatever it is. It really makes me proud of the fact that I'm part of this. And I really thank you for having us.
Thank you, guys. And,
Thank you.
from my final words, I'm going to say, guys, you deserve to be sober. Someone told me this one time before. They said, sometimes when you're in active addiction, you feel like you don't deserve to be sober, but you do. There's resources out there. There's avenues. Let us know how we can get a hold of you.
You can call me directly, 804-564-6205, or admissions.
Right. It's admissionsmd@avenuesrecovery.com.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, guys. Bye.